Hi, Wolfpack fans. I'm Jeff Grabley.
I'm Tony Haynes.
And I'm Matt Chaz now.
And this is Pulse of the Pack. Welcome into another edition of the show. I'm Jeff Grabley with Matt Chazanow, the voice of the Pack. And no, we didn't call each other and say, "Hey, what you wearing today?"
I roll my sleeves up,
Okay.
so we're not totally. I fixed it.
Yeah, we're twinning today, but that's what you do when you kind of celebrate an NC State win.
Sure.
I mean, you know, hey, it snapped a 9-game losing streak, and I don't care who it was against, where it was, what the final score was. The fact of the matter is that losing streak is over. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead after 9 straight games.
All right, so in this stretch, in this 9-game skid, these games were included as part of it. And I'm going to need you to rack your brain a little bit here. We're going to go back in time a little bit, whether you want to or not.
I'm fine with that.
We're going to do this a little bit, all right? 1-point road loss to Stanford with a very questionable no call back end of the game.
Okay.
6-point home loss to Southern Methodist University was a 1-point game with 3:21 to play.
Okay.
Coin flippy of a game under 4. 3-point home loss to Cal. Missed a couple late field goal attempts. Remember that? Huntley Hatfield and then Breon Pass had the 3-point effort. Cal scores final 4 points of that ball game. Pack had a 1-point lead late. 3-point road loss in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech, led by 15. Hokies win it on a 9-0 run to the end of the game. Very, very questionable call with 2 seconds left. Very questionable call. 2-point home loss to North Carolina. Game was tied with 24 seconds left. That's a really hard skid. That's a lot of close games that go against you. That's whistles that don't go your way. That's a lot of meat on the bone if you look back at that 9-game skid. And you'd think that there'd be a reversion to the mean now as you come down the stretch here with some important games late, going to Syracuse, obviously Wednesday in Chapel Hill. You go to Miami. There's a lot of opportunity here. You go to Atlanta to try to get into Charlotte, get to the ACC tournament.
You know, and that's kind of the thing. It was interesting after the game, the win against Boston College. Jaden Taylor said, "Hey, we know what's at stake. We know that the bottom 3 in the ACC do not go to the ACC tournament, and we know as defending champions that would just almost seem not right for that to do." So let's kind of dive into what's left for NC State with 6 games to go in the regular season. So right now, if the season ended right now, and I hate that phrase, because the season doesn't end right now. If it were to end right now, well, it's not ending right now. No. NC State has 6 more opportunities. So right now they are in the bottom 3.
Yep.
It's NC State at 3-11, Boston College and Miami at 2-12. So let's kind of look ahead of what NC State has in the rest of the season. First of all, let's look at the teams that may have 5 wins ahead of NC State. Notre Dame is one of those teams. Now, we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. There are games tonight and games tomorrow. So take that with a grain of salt. Notre Dame has 5 wins. That's 2 more than NC State, but NC State owns the tiebreaker there. Cal and Syracuse both have 5 wins. They lost twice to Cal. They're getting to play Syracuse next week.
Big game.
6 wins, Virginia and Virginia Tech.
Right.
Which really hurts NC State because they lost to both of them in their only meeting in the regular season. Florida State has 6 wins. NC State beat them way back in December. And Pittsburgh has 6 wins. They still play NC State. They're still on the schedule. So it's not impossible. Tough, but not impossible, because there are some opportunities to play teams that you're in the race with trying to stay out of the bottom of the ACC.
Yep, don't have tiebreakers, like you said, against the Cavaliers and Hokies. You do have the tiebreaker over Notre Dame. That's a big deal. And you try to gain the tiebreaker over Pittsburgh. Georgia Tech is 4 wins ahead right now. Will probably shelve that. Possible, but mathematically, but it's less likely. So Pittsburgh and Syracuse become biggies. Let's not forget Miami's below the Pack by 1 win. So if they get hot, you want to win in Miami, and if they become part of the discussion, then that may be relevant also, but you play them too.
And that's the last game of the regular season. That it would be interesting to see what weight is on that game as far as who may go to Charlotte and who may not.
If you're going to qualify for it, it's quite likely that will matter greatly, just by the math of it. So if you look at the remaining games and then you need to win 2 or 3,
I would say 4.
if you need to win 4, it's unlikely if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left that game doesn't weigh greatly into it for the last game of the year in Coral Gables.
And 4 of the games remaining of the 6 are on the road. And that's something that NC State has not done this year. They don't have an ice cream game.
Yeah,
you haven't even gotten a dose of ice cream with a road win.
I know. And Coach Keats is superstitious.
Right.
So I gave a really, and I can say this in the win against Boston College, I gave a horrific broadcaster's jinx to one of our missed free throws. Just an egregious, like Tony looked at me like, are you kidding me right now with that? I mean, he burned a hole in the side of my head, and I could feel it. And so I haven't talked about that much, the lack of ice cream. But I already know my flavor, and I've got it all set up. I just don't know how much to talk about.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Crisp, refreshing, and irresistibly tasty. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew.
It's time for the best deals across the full lineup. F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. You've got Maverick and the North American 2025 Truck of the Year, Ford Ranger, fully prepared.
Did you sleep here last night?
If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready.
And this crew is Truck Month ready.
Now get 3.9% for 60 plus up to $11,624 in total savings on select F-150s only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
All right, Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
This segment of Pulse of the Pack is presented by Coca-Cola.
Satisfying win over BC for many reasons on Saturday, and Coach Keats did dinner taste a lot better on Saturday?
You know what? Everything tastes better. Everything smells better. Everything tastes better. Everything is better. And happy for our guys. You know, we've been right there through this streak, and just having received the reward of winning. Outside of, maybe 1 or 2 games where I thought we didn't have a chance, we were in all of those games to win it, and it was good just to see it all come together, especially at home against, Boston College. We needed a win, and our guys delivered. We got back to defending the way we were defending, and I think, that kind of, Jaden Taylor really set the tone early. Getting after him full court and pressuring him, and we got some steals and some easy baskets, and you could see our confidence growing as we start playing that game.
Now, the night before that was Valentine's. I'm assuming Ms. Keats was taken care of?
Well, of course. I look at Valentine's.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't even have to ask the question, right?
Well, Valentine's is like, in my household, it's a year-round thing. Christmas is a year-round thing, and I think most married men will say the same thing. You guys, you don't know this, Tony, so you can't even participate in this, but
no, I have an awareness.
Yeah, I know you do, and that's all it is. It's an awareness.
That's right. Did you? I didn't know this. I found out Saturday that Dennis Parker Jr. his birthday is on Valentine's.
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's.
How about
Day.
that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Valentine's baby.
Well, what the disappointing thing is, Dennis has been around for 2 years now, so you completely missed his birthday last year.
That's
you
right.
ain't even thinking about that.
That's right. But it came up during his post-game meeting with the media. That's how I found out. I was listening to that, so somebody knew it.
He played maybe he played like he should play like that every day, like it's birthday. He played good. Dennis Parker Jr. had one of his best games of the year, didn't he, Coach?
Yeah, I thought we all were locked in, and I love Dennis' energy. I've always said this. He's a guy who plays hard, but I asked our guys to get back to their roots. Doing a little bit of everything, getting out in transition, rebounding the basketball, taking some shots. And, I thought he got back to his original roots of, kind of why we recruited him here is, we talk about the tight end on the football field, but you always have to have that hybrid forward that can do a little bit. And I thought he played that way.
So Dennis Parker did not play against Louisville. And then he comes out Saturday and has a good day coming off the bench. So take us through his journey going from Wednesday to Saturday.
Well, we're looking for sparks. And, I told our team, we're going to, if I can find a spark in anybody, and it could be anybody. I'm looking for, who I feel like that, we can get a spark from. Dennis was a spark against Boston College, and, obviously somebody else may be a spark doing another game, and that's what we continue to do. We try to figure out, especially we've lost so many games by such a small margin, we're figuring out, what combinations can we throw it in, and a lot of it is a feel. Sometime a guy may play, sometime not, and the reason being is because not like we've established ourselves, we won all of these games. We're still trying to, I know people say we're figuring it out, but sometimes 1 and 10 are the same player on our team, and so we just had to figure that out.
Through the difficult January and now into this February where you snapped this skid, were you struck by how similar the process was to get a win as opposed to what happened on the road in some tight ball games that didn't go your way? I mean, you kind of just want to do your thing and lay it out there, and 3, 4, 5 of those ball games could have gone your way without really changing much at all.
We have not been ourselves, and what happens is when you lose, everybody gets tight in a certain way, and they think they have to kind of make up for the rest of the team. And so we've talked about 2 guys on the show right now. We talked about Michael being himself and Dennis being himself. And a lot of times you think you have to do extra when you're losing, and the team needs this, or I got to take over this and all that other stuff. And I thought for a long time, guys became who they were. Jaden Taylor went out and he started defending like we were hoping we're capable of doing. Michael had 6 assists. Dennis just played his normal energy position. I thought Ben had a normal energy position. Brandon scored around the rim like we know he can do. We did a lot of good things that everybody just played who they were.
Coach Keats also talked about on his radio show on Monday, he's been looking for a spark, and he got that from Dennis Parker Jr. on Saturday, a guy who'd only scored 5 points in the previous 6 games, and he gets 7. He played well defensively. He passed the ball well. He ran the floor well. So those are the kind of things that you can look for to try to gain an unexpected spark. It may come from a Parker. It may come from the other Parker. Right. It may come from a Breon Pass, who in the last 2 games has scored 18 points. So those are the kind of things they're looking for to, like you said, figure out a way to get to 70. But to do that too, you've got to have Jaden Taylor playing like Jaden Taylor did against Boston College and not like he had the previous 5 games.
He was great.
He was fantastic from the jump.
Forced 3 quick turnovers. Held Boston College's starting point guard just to the bench. Coach Earl Grant just said, you know what, this is not it. And Jaden Taylor totally put a wrench in BC's game plan. The other thing about the 70 number that where you want to give a little more credit to NC State and not sound heavy-handed, right? Like in full fairness to the offense. The pace of play for a long time this year was actually sub 300. So the 364 teams in the rankings that we're peeling from here in the Ken Palm rankings, their pace was like 329 for a while, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. It's just a stylistic choice. It's either by mandate or by whatever it is. That's okay, right? Virginia is often, for context, last. So to be at 70 playing that slow is really good. right? If you're going to be one of the slowest teams in the country and still score 70, it makes sense that your record would be 8-2 when you score 70 points, which is what it is this year, and probably should be 9-1, but for the Virginia Tech loss, right? And that was a tough one in the 70s where they were up 15 and they want that ball game back.
Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew.
It's time for the best deals across the full lineup. F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. We've got Maverick and the North American 2025 Truck of the Year, Ford Ranger, fully prepared.
Did you sleep here last night?
If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready.
And this crew is Truck Month ready.
Now get 3.9% for 60 plus up to $11,624 in total savings on select F-150s only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
First spring football practice next Tuesday, the 25th.
Let's do it.
Got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. We know the offensive coordinator from the past in Kurt Roper, who's been with NC State. This will be his 7th season. DJ Eliot is the new defensive coordinator. Had a chance to spend some time with them. They're both excited about what they have. And for a guy like DJ Eliot, he's just glad to get back on the field as a defensive coordinator again. Welcome to our neighborhood. NC State's new defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, DJ Eliot. That's one L and one T. This is your first opportunity to coach in the state of North Carolina. You've been all over the place. I had to write them down, and I'm sure I'm missing one. Texas State, Tulsa, Rice, Florida State, Kentucky, Colorado, Kansas, Temple. You were at Baylor last year with the Philadelphia Eagles before that. How unique of an opportunity is it to come to the home of the red and white and coach at NC State?
Oh, it's tremendous. You know, such a consistent winner. It's one that has a head coach that is respected all across the country. Great staff, great players. I'm fired up.
One of the things I was really interested in, you played the position that you're going to coach, linebacker. Played for Wyoming in the late 90s. Was that back in the day of the big shoulder pads and neck rolls?
I definitely had a cowboy collar. I definitely was wearing high tops, taking on a lot of ISOs. It was a different game.
Different game. Where did the big pads go? Nobody has big pads
I know,
anymore.
they're all small now. I think we cared more about looks back then,
Absolutely.
and they care more about moving around now.
That's exactly right. What type of mentality does a linebacker need? The position that you played, the position that you coach. Yes, it's the physical part, but there's a mentality to being.
Linebacker play is hard in theory and easy in application, okay? And what that means is that there's so much that they have to think about, right? That the theory is really hard, okay? But then when they go to react, it's really natural. It comes down to natural instincts. So they have so much they have to communicate to the front, to the secondary. They have so much that they have to communicate to each other, so much they have to see pre-snap, that it's really a mental game in a lot of ways. And then once the play develops, their natural instincts kick in.
What have you been able to do here in the first few months? I know with new rules now you can get some work with the guys. How has that helped you get to know them and them get to know you?
It's been great because, you know, coaches and players connect through fundamentals. So when a player can see that you can make him better, and he's willing to spend the time with you, and you have the time with him, and then that growth happens, then the two of you connect. So it's a big connection piece between a player and a coach.
What do you plan to implement here at NC State without giving away the playbook?
We're going to be multiple.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get in multiple fronts. We're going to run multiple coverages, and we'll run some man, we'll run some zone, and we'll pressure. So it's going to be a defense that we concentrate on being multiple for an offense, but simple for the players.
You've been at so many places. The 1 year you spent in the NFL as a linebacker coach with the Eagles, what did that do for your coaching career as far as getting to coach in the best league in the world?
I grew exponentially as a coach in that year in the NFL. And then on top of that, the players that you coach are the best in the world. You have an opportunity to work with players that are extremely talented, but what you'll find is that they're extremely serious too. Right? And they take the game very serious. And it's their career. And so that type of job makes you a better coach because the guys that you're coaching, okay, are looking at you to help develop them for their career, like, for their paycheck, the way that they feed their families. And so you grow tremendously when you coach in the NFL.
Last year you were an analyst at Baylor. What does an analyst do?
So Dave Aranda, who's the head coach at Baylor, called me and said, hey, will you consult for me on the coordinating of the defense? So Coach Aranda is the only head coach in college football that also calls the defense. So it was a great opportunity for me because I would game plan every week. I would present my game plan to him, and then he would use the game plan ideas that he liked.
You've also been on the staff at Florida State, so you've been on the other sideline.
That's right.
At Carter Finley Stadium. What is that like, and how important is a home field advantage that is at Carter Finley Stadium?
So when I was at Florida State, we were really, really good, and we came up here twice and lost. We lost to Russell Wilson once, right? And then we lost to Mike Glennon once, right? And in both of those games, the environment here was rocking. I mean, the stadium was electric, and it was very tough for us to play in.
All right, I got a couple of get-to-know-you questions. So what do you like to do away from football?
Well, I've got 4 kids, so a lot of my time is spent with them, and 3 of them are girls, so sometimes it's shopping, and sometimes it's, watching Hallmark movies or whatever. But with my son, we love to fly fish, right? We love to go to sporting events. We may go to a baseball game or a basketball game, anything that we can do just to be together.
What's your favorite food, and can you cook?
So I can't cook. Okay. I will get on the grill and try to be a grill master every now and then.
That qualifies.
That qualifies. Okay. So I would say just grilling a steak.
Yeah.
If I just had a good ribeye, with the right seasoning, cooked to perfection, then I'm a happy man.
Music. What do you like?
I'm a country guy. Yeah, and there's a lot of good country music singers here from North Carolina,
right.
So I know there's some good venues here, and I look forward to getting to them.
If you could go to any concert and hear any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive. Now that's a good one. I would still have a hard time any Kenny Chesney concert. That is hard to turn down. I mean, he's got so many songs. Most of them are fun-loving, right? Most of them put you in a great mood. I think that that's a pretty cool experience.
No shoes, no shirt, no problem.
That's right.
It could be, though.
Exactly.
Final question. What is the best thing about football?
I think the best thing about football is it's the ultimate team game. There's a lot of other sports out there that individualism can be more effective in winning, but not in football. Not in football. One great player won't win you games, right? You have to have 11 guys on offense and you have to have 11 guys on defense. You can't just get 2 or 3 good players and go on to the NCAA tournament like you can sometimes in basketball. So it's really the ultimate team game.
Coach Eliot, so glad to have you at NC State.
Hey, same. Glad to be here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Carolina Ford Dealers. See your Carolina Ford dealer, proud sponsor of NC State Athletics.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew.
It's time for the best deals across the full lineup. F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. We've got Maverick and the North American 2025 Truck of the Year, Ford Ranger. Fully prepared.
Did you sleep here last night?
If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready.
And this crew is Truck Month ready.
Now get 3.9% for 60 plus up to $11,624 in total savings on select F-150s only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
All right, Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Crisp, refreshing, and irresistibly tasty. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
If you looked at NC State's 9-game losing streak and how they came out against Boston College, they did not look like a team that had just been saddled with a 9-game losing streak. So, you know, some people don't want to hear stuff like that, but to me, I think this could be this easily could have been a season where you just say, we're done, we are checked out. They have not done that.
No.
I think a team like Miami has done that.
At times, their results have been lopsided. That is not NC State this year. No, they have been, the one attribute that's constant is effort. They have played really hard.
As the Pack heads to Chapel Hill to play North Carolina, the women did not have a good result when they went there Sunday, lost by 1. Coach Westmore's team ranked number 10 in the country. They were 5 for 13 from the free throw line. So I'm sure somewhere this week they might be working on a few free throws. So they moved to drop to 13 in the country. They go to Georgia Tech, a team that's ranked 20th in the country. But then Sunday, College Game Day will be right here in Reynolds Coliseum as the women face number 1 Notre Dame at Reynolds Coliseum. It's the first time that, now they haven't been doing the women's College Game Day for long, but it's the first time NC State women will host College Game Day. The men have hosted it before. In 2013, NC State hosted and beat North Carolina that day. And then football is hosted, the last time was 2004 against Miami. And a guy named Devin Hester ran the opening kickoff back for the Hurricanes, and it was just the beginning of I think the two teams combined for over 70 points in that game. So College Game Day coming here on Sunday will be a pretty cool thing.
It was a good Miami team.
Pretty good.
I remember that.
Devin Hester.
He was a good player.
Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Tony about fell off his chair in Maples Pavilion when we were doing the men's game, and he saw the women's score, and Stanford had lost to Notre Dame by 50. Mm-hmm. And Notre Dame is really good. I'm excited. It's going to be really fun.
That's going on. We've got baseball underway. We've got softball underway. Chaz, I'm telling you, my man, spring is just around the corner.
It's a great time of year, isn't it?
It is.
This second crossover period is really, really fun. I was listening to Andrew Sanders doing a great job on baseball, beating the winningest team in college baseball history, the Fordham Rams.
The fact that you found that last week is pretty amazing.
Isn't that great? So baseball's off and running. Yeah. They swept Fordham doubleheader Friday, and then I think just one on Saturday.
That's right.
Some weather stuff.
Yeah.
So they got 3 wins to start. So it's great.
Well, I'm glad you took my call to figure out what we were going to wear today.
You're welcome. Yeah, listen, but every day it's a lot. You call me every morning. I mean, come on. You don't need to coordinate that much.
Other than the beard, we're the Bob C twins.
Yeah.